Hello, this is Lisa Phillips and Al Williamson, video blogging for BiggerPockets. Today's episode is how not to make mistakes when investing in the inner city. I have successfully invested in the inner cities before, and for Al Williamson, this is a large part of his portfolio. Is there anything you want to say, Al, before we start?
I do. I want to congratulate you on being the first video blogger for BiggerPockets. I know our community welcomes it, so thank you for pushing the envelope.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you joined this audience. My first thing I wanted to say to anyone, if you're investing in the inner city, that I did that seemed to work really well was that I got security doors. I went and the first thing I contracted out was security doors. I paid $650 each from the front and back door, and I think that was a really big part of why I was completely unmolested for the whole year that I was working on the property. Completely. It's just such a deterrent, and you made it so that anybody who thought they'd go in for an easy steal, they'd have to work for it. You'd have to break windows, you'd have to climb on ladders, in order to get to it. And that one simple investment, sort of separates your vacant house from any other vacant house as not the one to go in, and money well spent. And also, I was a single female, and I wasn't sure about the neighborhood. It was my first time really going into a neighborhood that didn't look as nice as I'm used to. And, for a single female, I wanted that protection. So if I was in the house, I would have no surprises. I would be alert when someone came in the house. You're not just getting in with me in there, especially by myself. So that was a big thing that I did.
Hey, as a married male, I was happy I had security doors as well, especially when I was doing some repairs at night. So
right,
excellent. Yeah, you definitely want to have.
And sometimes it goes late into the night, because you're like, I'm not leaving until this is done, and it's a little later than what you thought.
Yep. Hey, I got a tip for you. It's kind of more for multi-families, but it could be for single families as well, which is night lighting. Instead of a under new management sign, let's put some night lights up, and that definitely changes the atmosphere, which in inner cities is critical to do, is to think about how you're changing the atmosphere for the better. So dawn dusk night lights, put them up high, and LED makes things, even porch lighting, much more affordable. So definitely switch it out and put it on autopilot. So whether people are there or not, even if it's an overcast day, you want it to come on.
I did the same thing, except when I did it, I had it on, you had to get within 5 feet. And the neighbors who like to hang out on my porch didn't like that. But, hey, it was on when I came there. And, but I didn't have it on from dawn to dusk. And maybe that is the difference I would do. No motion, anything. It's just on until we get it rented out.
Front and back.
And another thing I noticed was when I was choosing and selecting houses, the biggest thing that I searched for were crime reports. There's tons of neighborhoods that you can invest in the inner city, and they're all different. But when I checked the crime reports, which you can do online for free now, because most big cities now, have this, and that's where you'll find these neighborhoods. And it tells you exactly what's going on in that neighborhood. It tells you, you put that address in, it tells you if there's assaults, if there's violence, and then, I put that in, and then when I looked and I sized it up, there were just as many houses that didn't have that aspect. So I knew it was a lot safer going in by the facts, not by my feeling or intuition or staring at it, but what's freely available online for most, I think, of just about all cities that I've looked at. And that was a really big thing on choosing your investment. When you have a wide choices, of course, make sure you take that into account. So you choose the best one out of what's available.
Right. The only problem with those things is it doesn't tell you about the good things that happen.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so people, when you're trying to work on, like I'm in the process of making sure I'm doing things for PR reasons, just to help people outside of my neighborhood find out what a gem we are. Because I'm in that phase of revitalization where I'm trying to get the word out and make my exit. So yes, getting the news out about good things that are happening is much more difficult. So you may have the bad news kind of skews things a little bit. But you're right. It is apples and apples right there. So.
Right, right. I mean, usually when you find the crime reports, the places that had little to no crime at all were doing a lot of good things. But
Okay.
at least those indicators led me to where the
Yeah.
movement's taking place. You know what I mean? Like the movement's
Yeah.
already happening, so you're just joining the movement.
Yeah. We'll save PR for inner city for a later episode. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a tip for you,
What's that?
which is blight. You know, litter and blight is something that if you buy an inner city investment, either you want to take care of it yourself or you want to delegate that, or spend a little money to have someone keep your front litter free. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just like you wouldn't have any litter in front of your house,
Right.
in front of your expensive swanky apartment there you're in, and I wouldn't have it in my neighborhood at all. There's just nothing, not even a matchstick is
Right. No.
is
right.
out there.
Mhm.
So, and that's important as far as an indicator of what people think of the neighborhood and raising expectations. Absolutely. So make sure there's no blight.
Did
No
you
tagging.
have a property manager or did you have a tenant do the upkeep for you since you may not have been close by?
Yeah, I had a guy on site who I discounted his rent a little bit for that reason, to help me out on those types of things. And I swing by to do my weekly inspections, and so I was happy last night. I swung by it, and there was just one kind of a bag that was blown in, but there was no real
Good.
people. Yeah, people leaving McDonald's on the ground. There was none of that. So
Right.
yeah, I was happy to see that. That's I feel pretty happy. Only one piece of litter, one piece of trash. It wasn't litter. It was trash.
Hey, I've been there. Well, that's amazing.
Yeah, that's
That
great.
neighborhood's changing. That's
Yes,
what
it
that
is.
means.
Yeah.
And another thing to mention is for anyone out there is property managers can play a big role in it. So you can invest in these neighborhoods, but you don't have to necessarily do the day-to-day tenant evaluation, eviction, rental collection. And another good aspect that they are really helpful in is that they knew the neighborhood more so than me being outside trying to come in and figure things out. You know, every question I had to ask about what's going on, what kind of neighborhood it is, what kind of rents, they just could immediately answer because this is their day-to-day business. But also, like, I have the investment and it's being fully taken care of. So if you're worried about being in the neighborhood all the time, or you don't really want to deal with it, you really don't have to if you set your business up properly. And property managers can be a big part of that, especially good, honest ones that invest in that area. So the first thing I asked any property manager for one of these houses was, how many houses have you rented in the zip code? Okay.
Mhm.
And if they haven't rented in the zip code, I didn't get them because it's too much work. You know, they want something else, and that's fine. There's something for everyone. But, you know, the property manager was like, oh, I have 5 in that zip code and they're all rented. It takes this long to rent it out, and these kind of rents you can get.
There you
That's the one that you wanted to get because they'll be on the ground and, you know, ears to the ground and checking things out and knowing exactly what to look for and knowing how to deal with the house effectively. So that was a big part for me. So I don't have to go visit my inner city, rental property all the time, but it is being taken care of as far as repairs and whatnot. So it's good because you just get the high cash flow, and usually you get these houses at such a discount, you can still pay the property manager and you're still making excellent cash flow. It's not really dipping. Your cash on cash returns are still excellent. So I would say that was a really nice part too, because there's always someone who knows how to invest in that neighborhood. You don't necessarily have to do it yourself for it. There's someone who's completely comfortable driving around, collecting rent, talking to the tenants. So, it's just one more thing on top of everything else you do that can make it really easy managing one of these properties.
Yep. Hey, something I want to get the word out to inner city investors, especially long distance landlords, is, hey, there's opportunities to make some small donations to make a big difference for that neighborhood. And like I've talked to you before, is hey, neighborhood associations can use $5 a month. That's a game-changing type of thing.
Right.
So I encourage all landlords to find the nearest neighborhood association, boys and girls clubs, after school programs to the nearest school. All those types of things can use a small donation. But of course, you want to get their thank you notes. You want to get some branding onto your property. I'm just talking specifically, more so for multifamily. You want to also make sure people know that you are helping the community and how you're doing it. So there's so many things. If you want to pay down on people's gas cards or pay for their web hosting or just refreshments for a meeting, even neighborhood watch meeting could use someone just to buy cookies and refreshments. That's a big deal.
Right.
It's a big help too.
Al, you have officially shamed me into stepping up my game. So I now must do a Google search to see who
Where's
is
that?
Google search
Where's
to
that
see
mission
who
accomplished?
the
A banner. I need
to
that
see
banner
who's
behind
my
me,
neighborhood
right?
association, because definitely I can toss $60 a year to
Yeah.
engender goodwill for
Yeah.
that community.
Yeah.
So thanks for the shame, and I'll be working on it.
Hey, when you have a problem and you
Yeah.
need some people to help you
Call
out.
'em right up.
Oh yeah, you're connected. It's not like who are you?
Right. Hey, he
Yeah.
bought us cookies. We love this guy.
Did we love them? That's exactly right. That's what it boils down to.
Ooh, we like him.
Uh-huh.
So that's all I got for today. Definitely we can bring more tips into it, but these were the biggies that clearly a clear difference if you want to invest in these neighborhoods for qualifying the property, but doing it in a way that makes you feel extremely comfortable. So it's not such a nerve-wracking or tense-filled thing. Like, it doesn't have to be. It could be very nice and comfortable and end very well.
Yes. Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you, Al. I do appreciate it. And thank you, everyone, who paid attention to the video blog. This is Lisa Phillips and Al Williamson contributing to BiggerPockets. And thank you very much.